Viewers, China bans UK MPs after abuse sanctions. China has imposed sanctions on 9 UK citizens, including 5 MPs, for spreading what it called lies and disinformation about the country. The group are among the most vocal critics of China in the UK. It comes in retaliation for measures taken by the UK government on Monday over human rights abuse against the Uyghur Muslim minority group. Boris Johnson said those sanctioned were shining a light on gross human rights violations. Freedom to speak out in opposition to abuse is fundamental, and I stand firmly with them, the Prime Minister said in a tweet. The Foreign Secretary said if Beijing wanted to credibly rebut the camps, it should allow UN access to Xinjiang. Those targeted by China include former Conservative leader Sir Ian Duncan Smith, 2 peers, a lawyer and an academic. Sir Ian Lin. Sir Lin said he would wear the sanctions as a badge of honor. The response by China follows similar sanctions imposed on the European Union, which was part of the coordinated action on Monday, along with the UK, the US, and Canada. China has detained Uyghurs at camps in the northwest region of Xinjiang, where allegations of torture, forced labor, and sexual abuse have emerged. It has denied the allegations of abuse, claiming the camps are re-education facilities used to combat terrorism. Tory MP Celine
Nusrat Ghani and Tin Loktan
and Piers Baroness Candley and Noel Atton, who are all members of the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China. Tory MPs Tom Tugendhat and Neil O'Brien, who lead the China Research Group. Lawyer Sir Geoffrey Light QC, chair of the Via Tribunal, which is investigating atrocities against the minority group. Newcastle University academic Joe Smith Fanny, whose research focused on the Uyghurs. They will all be banned from entering China, Hong Kong, and Macau. Their property in China will be frozen, and Chinese citizens and institutions will be prohibited from doing business with them. Selenian said. Those of us who live free lives under the rule of law must speak for those who have no voice. If that brings the anger of China down upon me, then I shall wear that as a badge of honor. Mr. Tugendhat, who chairs the Commons Foreign Affairs Committee, told the BBC, I view this as a direct assault on British democracy and an attempt to silence the British people who have chosen me to speak for them. If that isn't an assault on British sovereignty, I don't know what is. Mr. Ghani told BBC Video 4's Today program the move was a wake-up call for democratic countries that China would sanction lawmakers who were just doing their job. She added, I won't be intimidated. This has now made me even more determined to speak out about the virus. I won't be intimidated. Academic Dr. Smith finally tweeted, I have no regrets for speaking out, and I will not be silenced. Noor Arjun said the imposition of tit-for-tat sanctions is a crude attempt to silence criticism, adding that the first duty of a parliamentarian is to use their voice on behalf of those whose voice has been silenced. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said it speaks volumes that, while the UK joins the international community in sanctioning those responsible for human rights abuse, the Chinese government sanctions its critics. If Beijing wants to credibly rebut claims of human rights abuse in Xinjiang. It should allow the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights full access to verify the truth. Neighbors Straddle Foreign Secretary Lisa Nandy said China's sanctions were a blatant attempt to silence British parliamentarians who are shining a spotlight on the appearing persecution of the Uyghur people. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said the UK's decision to impose sanctions flagrantly breaches international law and basic norms governing international relations, grossly interferes in China's internal affairs, and severely undermines China-UK relations. He added that the Chinese Foreign Ministry had summoned the British ambassador to China to lodge solemn representations expressing firm opposition and strong condemnation. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, Hui Chongying, later told a press briefing China was forced to act in self-defense in response to UK sanctions based on lies. Relations will deteriorate further. The retaliation by the Chinese government was not unexpected. From the moment the UK imposed its first ever sanctions on Chinese officials earlier in this week, a response from Beijing was inevitable. But that does not mean the tit-for-tat exchange of sanctions is unimportant. It will ensure that the UK's already poor relationship with China will deteriorate further. And that matters because the government is trying to strike a balance in its relations with Beijing. In its recent foreign policy review, the UK described China as a systematic competitor and the biggest state-based threat to the UK's economic security, but it also spoke of pursuing a positive trade and investment relationship and cooperating with China on climate change and biodiversity, all that just became a little harder still. 4 groups have also been sanctioned: the China Research Group, the Conservative Party Human Rights Commission, the VIA Tribunal, the SS Court Chambers. A legal opinion by senior barristers at SS Court Chambers had concluded there was a very credible case that the Chinese government was committing genocide against the reversed. An Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China spokesman said, "The decision to sanction 5 of our British members is a flagrant assault on those parliamentarians' rights to conduct their duties. We will be making urgent representations to ministers and the health authorities to see that they are protected from danger or harm as a result of the Communist Party's bullying. China targeting Boris Johnson. China has gone for the people exerting the most pressure on Boris Johnson to be tough on China. Exerting the most pressure. It's gone for the people who say genocide has happened in Xinjiang. The measures are essentially tokenistic. It's unlikely these people or entities did any business with Chinese firms or people anyway. Targeting Neil O'Banden is personal for the UK Prime Minister. The MP is in charge of leading policy in Downing Street. Going after SS Court Chambers, a group of self-employed barristers for legal opinion. It which also shows you how China views an independent radical system. It doesn't believe in them. After UK sanctions were announced on Monday, UK Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab called the abuse of Uyghur museums in Xinjiang one of the worst human rights crises of our time. More than 1 million Uyghurs and other minorities are estimated to have been detained in camps in Xinjiang. Xinjiang lies in the northwest of China and is the country's biggest region, like Tibet. It is autonomous, meaning in theory it has some powers of self-governance, but in practice both face major restrictions by the central government. Uyghurs living in the region speak their own language, similar to Turkish, and see themselves as culturally and athletically and see themselves as culturally and ethnically close to Central Asian nations. The Chinese government has been accused of carrying out forced sterilizations on Uyghur women and separating children from their families. The country initially denied the existence of the camps before defending them as a necessary measure against terrorism. It has denied allegations of human rights abuse.